Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Lori from Craggy Brook. And after receiving my deck yesterday from Artisan Tarot, I decided to break it down again, slow down, and take a better look at what it had to offer. And it comes in this box here. It's called Tarot de Ambiguites, and it is by Alejandro R. Rozan. Now, I did the review yesterday, but it was a little bit too quick, and I need to get into some more depth. And I thought, let's look at the court cards just today. And I have a book from many, many years ago. It's not available at the moment on Amazon, but you can see there, Tarot Decoder. And it was a great book for me because it was also teaching me the Celtic cross. Now, when we open the book up and turn to the suits, we get some information about the suits, but I really wanted to just look at the court cards today. So I'm going to try to keep this simple and just give you an indication of what's in this book and what helped me move along in learning the Marseille cards. Now, I guess right at the first, I should say that it was quickly mentioned in the video yesterday, but when you look at these names here on the cards, the couvreurs, that is the hearts. Now, the lambs are the legs, which are the wands, and the bras is the arms, the armor, the swords, and the tietes are the heads or the coins. Now, I've got a lot of markers in my book here because I really want to help people out that have indicated to me they're struggling a little bit with the court cards in tarot in general. So just bringing some of that information through, I think would be helpful, and it's good for me to revisit it again as well. Now, he is talking at the first here in the book about wands. So let's pick up the wands. So there you have it. And these wands in this deck really come to life. They are legs. But if we just think of it as the basic wands, we'll be better off. So when we think of the wands, it's suggesting that they are sometimes referred to as the staves or batons, yes. The leafy branches of the tree are helping us tap into our renewal, our growth, our passions, and our strengths. And this one is linked to the suit of fire. So it's going to be talking about expansion, travel, spontaneity, and it really is that energy that we feel that propels us forward and gets us going, gives us that strength, that quality that we're willing to put in the work in order to achieve what we are working towards. So that is the wands. Now, if I turn the page here, we get a little bit of information about the King of Wands, and I'll bring that one forward again. And I have used this information many times when trying to pick a person in a reading and nail them down to even an age. This one I usually look at as kings in general, as 35 or older, and I got the idea from this book, and it has rung true for me. Now, kings are generally, as it suggests here, enthusiastic, successful, and creative in financial fields. But if it was to be reversed, you get that sort of sulky attitude coming through, and that a little bit selfishness and not willing to really work. And that is so unlike the wands that I know, in that they want everyone to get along. So if he's reversed, he's not really working towards that camaraderie that they are so known for, that positive energy. But it means success if you get this card, and if it had to do with business especially. So that is our King of Wands. Now I'm going to have to scoop this and get the Queen. So here we have her. And she's a very protective woman. To me, the Queen of Wands is really creative, really passionate, and really helpful. She's strong-willed, confident, independent, and often gifted artistically. But she can be domineering and narrow-minded if she is reversed, and a little bit vengeful. But if you're in business, it's always great to have the support of the Queen of Wands. So I'll stick the King back there and the Queen so I don't mix up the suits. And let's go on to what was suggested and what I worked with before with the Knight, the Cavalier. Now, because the Kings, and I looked at the Queens as 35-ish and older, the Knights are usually 21 to 35. And they support the King and the Queen. They can be very imaginative and charming, but they can make for a jealous type of lover. That can be one of the drawbacks of this fellow. And it is sometimes, I have found in a reading, talking about a person who they really do like to have their own ways. And it's hard for them to give up that sort of reign to another when someone else has an idea. That is their one failing that I have noticed. It says in this book, be a change of residence and a card of travel, because they always indicate that the Wands love to travel. Okay, and if we go on to the pages, our valets. Now, these are 21 and under. These are sometimes coming up for me in readings as teenagers or those that are really young at heart. And they are creative still with the passion of the Wands, but they're just new to it. They're just striking out and they're trying things out. They need to have someone, I guess, help them out a little bit and nurture some of those business ideas they have and the creative passions, but they are younger. And so if he was upside down, it could mean that he's just being really irresponsible. And it talks about cruelty, but I've never seen that in the Wands. So that's a look at the court cards for the Wands. And let's go on now to the Pentacles. And that is this set over here. And Alejandro used some of the old ideas. And because he went into, excuse me, heads in this, it is the suit of, as it says there, têtes. And I think that is French. Elle est tête. I remember that in school. So this is the King of Pentacles. Now, let's turn to that and see what we got. Hang on a second. So what this does is refresh my mind too with readings, because I always look at the King of Pentacles as someone involved in money matters, lending, real estate, banking. And they're suggesting again that they would be 35 or older. This is a gentleman who's usually very patient and very understanding. And he is described as intuitive, great mathematical abilities, stable and cautious. But if he was reversed, he might be just a little bit stingy. Okay, so let's go on to the Queens. Again, think of them as 35 or older. And this is a woman of independent means. And I see her very much as an earthy mother person. To me, she's the one that always has the kettle on and the fresh baked goods and invites you in. It does indicate she's interested in the arts, and she is a very materialistic type person. But what I have seen to be true is that she is very socially oriented, very much so. As I say, her door is open and the parties are always generally at her house. But if she was reversed, she could be a little bit insecure and stingy and untrusting too. Okay, so we'll go on to the Knight of Pentacles. Gorgeous card. Now, to me, when the Knight of Pentacles comes up, they can be a little bit stubborn. That is one of their traits. They're not going to budge unless it's going to be beneficial to them. But they're generally honorable, and they love nature and animals. Very materialistic, yes. But if he was reversed, he might be a little bit insecure and not willing to take a chance on something. He's going to really need a nudge. And it's because he doesn't want to waste his talents. Okay, so that is the Knight. And then we go on to the Valet. Now, again, a younger person, or it could be, sometimes I found someone with younger attitudes, determined, very much into education and new ideas. And sometimes, even in the old gypsy cards, when the coins come up as the ace, that can be like a letter. So it would be a good idea. It would be confidential. And you could look at it as trying to reach their talents and their goals, but there's just a little bit of youth still there. They have potential, but if they were upside down, again, they're not really using their talents and their money to move themselves forward. So that is that one. And then moving along into the swords. Now, this is when we get a little bit tricky people to deal with. So there is our King of Swords. And remember that the arm wields the sword, so in French, roi de bras. So if you've got the king, to me, he usually comes up as someone connected to law, legal matters. And I've even seen it come up for someone who works within the RCMP. So he's a professional man over 35, very intellectual generally, innovative mind, and they suggested he could be a soldier or a government official. But if he was upside down, he would be a little bit cruel and violent and very critical. So that is the one thing. When it's upright, they're great listeners. They expect the truth. They can be a little bit short. So if he was reversed, they're not really listening to you. They're in their own thoughts, in their own mind. Okay, then we get on to the Queen again. Someone in law, someone who understands the ins and outs. She's very high maintenance. Sometimes I've seen that come up. She's cautious, strong, intelligent. But if she was reversed, she'd be a little bit spiteful. This is the woman, when reversed, who comes up for me as being a little bit catty. But they do suggest with the swords they could be someone that's not close, that they're foreign. You might be having issues and legal matters with foreign type countries, people, that sort of thing. All right. And isn't that a gorgeous card? So we'll go on to the Knights. And the Knight of Swords to me has always come up for someone who's a little bit hasty, often a little undercurrent of anger and impatience running through them. But they suggest, a courageous man, maybe over 21, but less than the age of the king, which is 35. He is career-minded too, passionate, a bit ruthless, and in a difficult situation, he tends, I find, to fight for the underdog, which is great. And again, because he's a sword, he could possibly be from a foreign country. And when nearby cards indicate, which is hard in a reading because you want to be very careful about giving out medical advice, it could be illness or a surgeon. Now that for me has always come up as the king when there's a doctor visit or something like that, and you're getting counseling as to the best way to proceed. So here we have the knave, younger, a little bit unpredictable. He's still testing out his ideas. And again, if he's reversed, he can be manipulative with those ideas and a little bit devious. Okay, so then we have one more suit to go into, and that is the hearts. Who doesn't love the cup suit, right? Okay, so there's our King of Cups. And from my readings and experiences, this person is very creative, sometimes has a body of work behind them, but they put some of their desires on the back burner in order to open up their hearts to other people. Again, 35 or older. They say that it could be connected to the law if it's the King of Cups coming up, especially education or religion. Now, he's very reliable, very patient, but if he was reversed, he too can be a little bit crafty and hide some of those emotions. But when he's upside down, for me, it's generally he's lost in his own thoughts, his own feelings, and he's really incapable of helping anyone else at the time. Now, the Queen of Cups, very passionate, very creative, lives in her emotions and feelings, I found. They suggest she's a great romantic partner, but if reversed, unreliable and dishonest. Ooh. But coming up, it could indicate, it says romance on the horizon. All right, we'll go on to the Knight. Now, this is the one that I have seen come up lots, who's tilting at windmills, I guess you could say. He's always questing, and if it isn't a love relationship, I found that he's a bit of a mover and a bit of a player. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I have found him to be. They say he's very sensual, very passionate, but he could, as I say, and it does say in the book here, be a little bit deceptive and possessive in a relationship. But it could indicate a date coming up, an invitation. And we'll go on to the valet. Now, this little guy, he's such a sweetheart. It's just, he's such a romantic, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's so imaginative, but he can get lost in his feelings too. They indicate a little bit of melancholy. It could be that, he's just opening up his heart to something new, something passionate for him. And he's following his intuition. And he seems to trust his intuition more than anything else. But it does indicate that it could mean a new business opportunity that will change the future. And I would say, because it's a cup, he's got to love it before he's going to do it. So that was just a little bit of fun for me to go back and slow down and look at these wonderful cards. And I think I just might try to do the same thing with the numbered cards. That could be really educational because the Marseille is just a little bit different than the RWS. Yes, you can bring some of the ideas over, but it would be nice to see what's in the book for the numbers as well. So let me know if you enjoyed this, and we'll catch you back here again.